What if with $1,000 you could start the best business there is in the most lucrative industry possible? And the industry is real estate. And the business I'm talking about is wholesaling. And wholesaling is where we go out and we find property owners that are willing to sell us their property at a discount. And now we take those properties, we have them under contract, and we take that contract that we have with the owner, we sell it to another real estate investor who's looking for that type of a deal, and now we make the spread. And that spread could be anywhere from a couple $1,000 to as much as $90,000 or more. That's how much I've made in a single deal. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to make $90,000 on your first deal, but it shows you that the opportunity is there for you to make a lot of money. And the great thing is with wholesaling is the absolute best way to get started in real estate investing. And so how do you do that? If you've got $1,000 to work with and you've got that money and you're saying, Chico, I need some help in making sure that I can take that $1,000 and I can squeeze it as best I can and I can I can get a deal from this. Well, that's what this video is about. I'm here in my computer again. I'm going to be walking you through this here step by step. And at the end of this video, you're going to have a nice crystal clear sense of direction. I'm going to share with you the pitfalls to avoid and specifically just put you on the track to success. And that's what this video is about. And as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Give me a like. Give me a comment. I know I'm asking for a lot. I mean, those are 4 things I ask you for. But geez, look at this. I'm making these videos for you. All you could do is just give me these 4 things. And then, hey, I'll be happy. You'll be happy. I'll do more videos. And in the end, we'll all be happy together. Enough of that. Let's go to the video. So let's get the party started. How to start with $1,000 wholesaling real estate. So let's talk about a couple things. So let's talk about free versus paid. So the first decision that you have to make is, are you going to go and do a bunch of stuff that is free versus taking your money and spending it? And that is one of the challenges that I see a lot of times with people. So at the end of the day, and I'm using a headset, look like an AT&T operator. Nothing's wrong with being an AT&T operator, but I like the audio as it comes out of here. Listen, at the end of the day, you are an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to deal with a certain amount of ambiguity and uncertainty. What that means is that, like any other business, there's risk. So sometimes you might have the $1,000. You may have the money to spend on marketing, but you're scared. You're holding on to that money and saying, I don't want to lose it. I just don't want to lose it. And so what ends up happening is that then you end up just trying to do it on the cheap. It's okay to conserve money. It's okay to conserve funds. However, there's a point to it. You've got at some point to put the chips on the table. Look, my poker chips. You got to take them, put them on the table, and you got to bet. And you got to say, look, I'm taking a chance. It may or may not work, but you can mitigate around that, right? So you can say, do certain things to help and increase your odds, so that now you have a chance of being successful. So I'm going to go through the paid methodology, but I do want to cover the aspect of free, because even though you may have the money, you still might be thinking, oh, no, I still want to do it for free. But don't do that. You're putting yourself in not the best position. You have to be confident. You have confidence because maybe you have someone like me helping you. You're watching this video and you get a better picture of what needs to happen. But at the end of the day, you've got to put your money on the table and you got to place a bet. And I'm here to help you in making sure that that bet is a good one for you. So let's go back to the video. So let's talk about free versus paid. A free method of getting leads is, say, for example, driving for dollars, right? So where you go out, you get in your car, and you're going to go out, drive all over town, looking for houses that need work. And that's fine. It's fine that you do that. However, if you start with free, you're going to eventually end up having to transition to paid, because free does not scale, right? That's what I meant to write. Free does not scale. So at some point, you're going to have to go to paid. So my objective here is to help you move in the direction of paid, move you in that direction in a way that is going to help you get results and minimize any potential pitfalls and or mistakes. And now put you in a position where then now you not only can you get your first deal, but now you've already laid the groundwork. You've already laid the foundation for then increasing what you're doing already and just doing it more of it, doing it better, and then getting you better results, rather than, say, focusing on something free that then you're going to go ahead and give up, because once you do a deal, now you got to go out and start brand new from something else just because of the fact that this doesn't scale. right? So I would focus on paid and supplement with free if you have the time. If you have the time, because you may be working a full-time job and you may not have the time to be driving for dollars all over town, and so therefore now the free isn't really something that is feasible for you. Now, the next piece of advice I'm going to give you is to minimize the tools. It's very easy in this business to go out and to get signed up for a bunch of different tools that in the end are not going to get you anywhere. They're going to end up eating your budget, and you don't really need them. So, for example, a CRM. A CRM stands for Customer Relationship Manager. Sales system where you log in and you input all your leads, and that way you can remember to call people back, etc. A CRM is not really a necessity in the beginning. It's nice to have a CRM that then you can go ahead and use that to keep track of your leads, etc. But it's not a necessity. And so, if you're going to go out and spend $100-200 a month on the CRM when you've got no leads just because you want to be organized, that's a bad move. You need to take as much of your marketing as possible and push it into, you need to take as much of your money that you have available, push it into marketing so that now you have the ability to increase your chances of getting a deal. The dialer, another one would is, for example, if you're doing cold calling. Cold calling is where you're getting a list of prospects that might potentially be interested in selling their property at a discount, and then you're getting the phone numbers, you're skip tracing them, and then what you're doing is you are going out and then using a piece of software to load up all the phone numbers and names, and then call them. But this allows you to call them rather quickly. You can make like 100 plus outbound dials in an hour. However, it's really not needed if you're doing cold calling to a small, tight list. And I'm going to get to that in a second, what I mean by that. And again, any money available should be going to marketing. Gosh, I love doing it this way with this tool, because otherwise, if I'm talking to you and then I'm just ad-libbing it, I'm not very organized and I lose track of what I'm saying. All right, so what's going to waste $1,000 in marketing? Well, PPC is going to waste a lot of money in marketing for you. Why? Again, I'm assuming that you don't do online marketing. You've never done this before. You're going to struggle with PPC. It requires a high degree of technical ability. There's a steep learning curve, and it's a high cost per lead. So it's very unforgiving. If you're spending $150, $200 a lead, you definitely want to make sure that you know how to talk to sellers. I would rather you spend, here's another thing, a side thing I'm going to tell you is that in the beginning, you need to talk to as many sellers as you can so you can get practice and then you can get better. And so you don't want to get practice on a really, really high cost per lead, because at the end, you're going to end up eating your budget. So I don't recommend PPC. Now, in terms of direct mail, I don't recommend direct mail to large lists. So let's say you got a list of absentee owners. These are landlords in your geographic area, and you get that list. And in my county, Broward County, even if I tweak the list and I really spend a lot of time on the list, that list is still going to be pretty large, 20 to 25,000 people. There's a lot of people mailing absentees, for example, and you need to spend a lot of money. So if you've got $1,000 to spend on marketing, I'm going to recommend that you don't do direct mail, not at least to really large lists such as absentee owners or owner-occupied, or even owner-occupied. I'm going to call it OCC. OCC means owner-occupied with equity, right? And none of these lists are going to be too big for you. Then I don't recommend you doing cold calling to large list. By that I mean is if you take the absentee owner list that we discuss here, and then you're going to start making a bunch of cold calls. You're going to get the phone numbers for these people, and you're going to make phone calls to them. Number one is you're going to need a dialer, and I already told you that the dialer is going to cost you like $200-300 a month. That's going to eat up your budget. You're going to have to buy a huge list, and then you're going to have to skip trace that list. So you're going to have to spend money on skip tracing that list. Now, the only benefit to cold calling is that you get a lot of reps in terms of speaking with sellers, but you spend a lot of time just hearing no's and speaking with a lot of people and yelling at you and calling you names, etc. I'd rather be speaking with people that want to talk to me. So for the most part, I'm going to recommend you not do any cold calling. The other thing I didn't put on here is RVM. RVM stands for ringless voicemail. Yes, my keyboard is very loud. Ringless voicemail. I'm horrible at talking and typing. Okay, ringless voicemail. It's illegal in Florida, right? Florida is illegal to do this, and it's problematic. Let's call it problematic in other states. There's laws and stuff like that that have been passed recently around this, and so you just got to be careful with that. So I'm not going to include that. All right. So then now, and again, keep in mind is this. As I'm discussing this, and I may have said this in the intro, when it comes to real estate investing, the most important thing is finding deals. So you're becoming here an expert at finding deals, finding it in an economical way, in a way that works that then you can scale in the future. That's the key thing. Because I don't care how many ways you have of being able to do a deal or how much real estate knowledge you have. If you can't find a deal to do something with, you're not going to have a real estate business, period. And that's what I'm talking about here. Now, what can you do for $1,000? Number one is to focus on persons, not tactics. What do I mean by that? By that, I mean that you focus on the individual. You focus on finding an individual that might have the desire and or situation at hand that will cause them to want to sell their property at a discount. And then we can go in and be able to help them in that situation. So I recommend direct mail to smaller list. So what you're going to do is you're either going to buy the list or find the list, right? And then for example, I'll give you an example of a list. A list here. Do I have here a list here? Let me see. Example of list here. Oh, these are the list here. I should just take them and write them down here for you. Let me put in here. I got to organize myself. Examples. We're doing this on the fly. All right. So let's talk about the code violation list. This is something that you would get directly from the city. Okay. The evictions is something that you can typically get direct from county or via online. All right. Now, I'm going to just go to my channel real quick. If you go into my channel and you type in the word evictions, it should show up. There you go. The most desperate seller. Check out this video. It talks about how to find the eviction prospects. So evictions is one of them. Code violations. A water disconnect will typically require a Freedom of Information Act. You can Google that and you can figure out how that works. You're going to make a request for people that whose water has been disconnected. Tax delinquent list works best if it's a list that is hard to get, because what happens is a lot of these services offer a tax delinquent list, and the challenge with that is that everybody's going to be mailing them or calling them. So I'd rather you start with these lists first here. So you buy the list and you find it, and then what you're going to do is you're going to mail the list. You're going to mail the list, and you're going to do a couple things with the list. First of all, we're gonna with this here we're focusing on people, and one of the things that we're focusing on is we're planning on attacking them in three ways, right? So we're planning on attacking them via direct mail. We're planning on attacking them via cold calling, and then also text messaging. Okay, both of these are going to be using your cell phone, right? Right here, cell phone. If you say, Chico, I don't know, I don't want somebody knowing my number, blah, blah, blah. I will just say, get over that. A nice big fat check in your hand will solve all your mental issues associated with that. All right, so buy the list and find the list. So I already discussed about this. So mailing the list. What I want you to do, go to my channel, and you're going to search for, I'll give you another search here, postcard. So check that out. Discuss postcard. My blind postcard. Check this out. There's a link in the description in that video for you to get my postcard. I recommend you use that postcard. So send that postcard out. I also have this one here. You can kind of screenshot it and create it. I create these cards using a service. You can create these cards using a service called Click2Mail, click2mail.com. And you can create a postcard here and upload the list, etc. Let me know if you want me to make a video for you that in the future on how to do that. And so you're going to mail the list. you're going to, when you mail the list, if you use my property notification card, you're going to get a lot of calls. So you're going to need a phone system, all right? And the phone system that I recommend is CallRail. And you're going to have a 24-hour recorded message. The message, and if we go here, let me just type this in, https:// and CallRail. Here is, you can get the cheap plan. I think it's $45 per month. That's one that I recommend. And then you'll set up a phone system with a 24-hour recorded message. So on the postcard, when you're sending out the postcard, if you, I would say, I'm not going to repeat, just watch this video, my blind postcard. I'll explain to you how it works and how I use it and everything else. But just know what you need here. And so you're going to take the list that I mentioned in the beginning, right? So we should put here is, maybe it might be better. So the people to target are these, right? And then we're going to attack them in 3 different ways, right? And then we are, so I'm going to just remove this from here. Let me just remove that from there. So direct mail, we're going to buy the list, find the list, going to mail the list. All right. And then what a trick with that postcard, the property notification postcard, is call everyone, including the hangups. Don't use your cell phone on that postcard because it's going to get a lot of calls. But call everybody, including the hangups. And then what you're going to do is then, let's say, for example, using the example of people to target, you got the eviction list, right? So you take the eviction list, you're going to go ahead and mail that list, right? And then I got to stop saying right all the time. Then I'm going to cold call that list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I can use a service, a Skip Genie, https Skip Genie. If you are using PropStream for getting comps and such, they also have a service for skip tracing. Let me see. Or you can use People Finder. And so People Finder, https People Finder. Well, let's see here. I think that will work. Peoplefinder.com. You have to pay for these. I think that is the right URL, maybe. Let me see. I don't know why it didn't show up here. People Finders. That's interesting. Right there. All right, People Finders. You can use that to find the people. So you're going to go after the evictions, the code violations, and the water disconnects. I already said that. I repeated that a couple times. That was not very efficient. All right, and then what we're going to do is, that's why I love this tool, because I can organize all kinds of stuff. To text messages, and you're going to do that with your cell phone, and you're going to say, hi, is this name? I'm looking for the owner of the property at, and then whatever the property address is, right? And then you can go and work through that conversation. I have other videos. I have a video on, if you type into my channel text, there's a video about text messaging. And then also, if you then look at my playlist, there's a playlist on how to negotiate with sellers. So you can watch those videos there, and it'll give you some strategies on speaking with sellers, etc. And so then now what we're doing is let me go back up here. We said we start with $1,000. I covered this already. What works with 1,000 is focus on the people, not the tactics. So we're going to focus on the people to target. We're going to attack them 3 different ways, and that's going to help you in getting a deal. Now, you can also do this. Let me put one last here, driving for dollars. Good old driving for dollars. All right. Now, the last thing I was going to say is recommend. Recommend that you, I'm a big, listen, I'm doing Facebook ads. That's what I do. I run Facebook ads. I recommend that if you're going to do any sort of paid media, you do Facebook, because then number 1 is your sellers are online. Number 2 is there's not that much competition. And 3 is you want to establish some sort of method of continuously going out and being able to generate motivated sellers on demand. And then this is by far the best strategy, the most forgiving strategy. I've got a couple of videos on that. So if you go to my channel, I'll direct you here. You can go to the playlist here. A lot of stuff to see here. There is the how to talk Facebook. Let me see. Finding motivated sellers on Facebook. It says Finding Motivated Sellers on Facebook 2020. That is the newest one. I've got a set of videos here. You can watch those. Got also a lot of other case studies as well. For Facebook, you're going to target, typically with Facebook, you're going to pay $30 a lead, 50 leads. It's going to get you a deal. I covered that in that video, so you can watch those videos. Now, if you target the entire state with Facebook, that's going to be better because you're going to make cheaper leads. Like when I target in the state of Florida, I'm getting $9 to $12 leads. Okay. And then I just do the deals virtually, and there's less competition, etc. So what I would recommend for you, if you haven't already done so, check out my Using Facebook to Find Motivated Sellers. And then there is another video series that I have on virtual wholesaling. So check that out. That thing is ringing in my ear now. And that is it. So look, one other thing I was going to say, how do you maximize $1,000? How do you maximize that? Well, you maximize that by maximizing your success with these things. The ability to talk with sellers and the ability to negotiate. That's going to increase your chances for success. The ability to analyze properties correctly and make the right offers. That's going to increase your chances for success. Having great cash buyers. That is going to increase your chances for success. So remember, there's never one thing. It's always a combination of things that all come together to then create success. So what I would say is, hey, follow my advice. It's the same advice I would give you as a friend. And most importantly, make sure that you then watch those videos that I recommended on the channel. So there you have it, $1,000 in your hand. What do you need to do in order to get your first real estate wholesale deal? I've laid it out for you. Now it's your turn to make it happen. Make sure you check out one of these videos here. Somewhere there, somewhere there. I have no idea, but they're good. So check them out, and I'll see you in the next video.